What is up, folks? Welcome back to another video. We've got a wild one today. We've got some secrets that I've been keeping. We've got some things to come clean about today to you guys, the best subscribers on YouTube. Guys, we're standing in front of the backyard pond right now, obviously, and I have been wanting to do a crazy pond renovation for a long time. I've been planning like maybe an expansion, maybe doing some bigger things with the pond than we've previously done in the past. If you guys want to see that, if you're up for like a pond series and really doing a lot of work to this pond, let me know in the comment section right now and give me some ideas as well. Because I'm about that close to pulling the trigger on a crazy big project that would just change this entire pond drastically. In addition to all the pond stuff that I'm thinking about doing, I'd also like to set up an area where we can still hunt deer from way up there by my house and hunt all the deer that are gonna come into this little area of our remaining property right here. Some of the ideas that I've had for that have been like a treehouse deer blind, or just like this awesome, crazy man cave treehouse that could double as an overnight shelter, survival shelter, a hunting blind, whatever. But there are tons of giant oak trees on our remaining property like this one that would be perfect for that crazy treehouse I've been wanting to do for like a year. So those are kind of two of the main projects that we're looking forward to this year. But today's video is a lot bigger than this backyard pond. Today's video involves the backyard pond, my house, the 270-acre $1 million property across the street, camp house we built in the woods, the micro pond, neighbor Daryl, literally everything. Everything that the channel has known for the past 4 years. Now you might be thinking, Lojo, what in the world are you talking about right now? Look guys, sometimes in life there are things that happen behind the scenes and you don't talk about it when it initially happens because you just don't want to talk about it yet. You want to let the dust settle, you want to let some time pass, and you want to kind of just process it a little bit more before you talk about it. Well, we recently had just a crazy 3 months, you know, from December, January, and February. December of 2023 to February of 2024. My life was pretty chaotic, and there were things that almost went down that would have just changed the course of my life completely. And because they didn't happen, now my life is going to be pretty different still, just in a different way. Holy moly, I've said a lot of words just now. A little bit of a word salad. I'm gonna have to focus in on this. Let's head on up to the workshop so I can gather my thoughts. So, turns out, I've been lying to you guys. I'm not really lying, but definitely keeping something a secret from you for the last 3 months. Sometimes I'm curious, as somebody who makes a lot of videos, whether or not you guys can tell if there's things going on in our lives that are not being shown on camera. You know, like whether or not you guys can tell if us in front of the camera are stressed, if we have other things on our mind, if things aren't going the way that we want them to be going, and whether or not that shows up on our videos. Well, for the last few months, woo, I have been experiencing some things. Been a lot of turmoil, I guess you could say. Just some things kind of going awry in the old personal life. But it's not all bad. Let me explain. I've been living in Alabama now for the past 10 years. That's long enough to call a place home for sure, even though I wasn't born and raised in Alabama. But as you guys know, as a part of what I do with YouTube and as a part of being a part of the Guggen Squad, I do a ton of traveling. And one of the places that I travel to the absolute most is Texas. It seems like I go out to Texas like once a month, and it's always for a different reason. I've got a ton of friends out there, obviously members of the Guggen Squad like Lunkers TV, John B., Lake Fork guy, you know, those guys are out there in Texas. L&M Lake and Golf Retreat, the trophy bass lake where I caught my PB 12-pound largemouth bass. The place that's drying up right now, we did a video on it, and we're going to be doing an update on that lake very soon. L&M Lake and Golf Retreat is in Texas. Lunkers TV started a couple other companies out there that are in the sports memorabilia world, and I actually was lucky enough to be included in on a couple of those opportunities. So now I've got that going on in Texas as well. So it became obvious pretty quickly that Texas was a place where I was traveling to a lot and I had a lot of stuff going on there. So there was like a need for me to be there a lot, which of course meant I have to be away from home. You know, I can't be in Alabama and Texas at the same time. So it got to be to the point where I was traveling so much to Texas and traveling to so many other places for YouTube videos, for content, for things that I wanted to do and experience, that I was really like missing out on family time. You know, like I was being gone way too much, and that was becoming obvious to me. And that's not a good feeling, Even if you love what you do and you love your career, you still don't want to be away. I still don't want to be away from my family for weeks on end, just for the sake of working and being successful or try to, achieve something. I would say, at what cost do I want to achieve something, And never at the cost of losing time with my family to where it's like hurting me. And I definitely got to that point during this whole process. So we bought the property a couple years ago, and we were in love with that property. 270 acres of whitetail heaven, basically. Trails already cut through it. Food plots kind of already set up. Shoot houses set up to hunt. There was creeks flowing all through it that we turned into micro ponds. We built cabins over there. We did so much cool stuff. But the thing is, we bought that property with the idea that we were probably going to be living in Alabama for a long time. And we were going to have that property for a long time, perhaps even to build a house on it one day that we were going to live in forever. So now that I've set the stage for how much I was traveling and how often I was traveling to Texas, and then having the property here, having almost 300 acres to deal with, having the family here in Alabama, having Andrew, my cameraman, here in Alabama, having neighbor Daryl right across the street, something had to give. It got to a point where I was stretched so thin in so many different directions. You guys know, if you've ever been in that situation, you just can't maintain that for very long. You have to eventually focus your energy, I guess you could say, or you're just going to get pulled apart and torn apart. And of course, you can't let that happen. So the idea started to get kicked around between me and my wife. How about we move to Texas? That could solve some problems. I'm always traveling to Texas. I'm there all the time. What if we just moved there? And then I wouldn't have to travel as often. I'd be closer to people that I care about and people that I like working with, projects that I'm interested in and that I'm personally heavily invested in emotionally and financially. At about this time when we were thinking about moving to Texas, something crazy happened. The people who sold me that property all of a sudden made it known that they were interested in buying it back if I ever decided to move off of it. Well, then that really forwarded the idea of, okay, well, yeah, Texas makes sense, We could sell our property here. And all of the doors that was going to open up to move to Texas. All of the collaborative opportunities. All the awesome things for my family. Since I'm an Army veteran, your kids get to go to state colleges and universities for free. The bass fishing is obviously crazy in Texas. Arguably, probably one of the best places in the world to be if you're trophy bass fishing. Ooh, sorry, I had to grab y'all off that tripod. I was getting a little bored. So yeah, it was starting to become obvious that the move to Texas, it made sense. It checked all the boxes. It was going to solve a lot of problems. From a content perspective, I'm thinking about all the videos I can do in Texas, and every single place that I go is going to be new. Like how awesome that would be from a creative standpoint. And the opportunities that I could give my family there, not necessarily better than Alabama, because Alabama's a great place to raise a family too, but in Texas, I would have more opportunities. That's just a fact. Because of all the relationships that I've made out there. To be able to just go out on a random day and go fishing with my buddies John B., Lake Fork guy, and of course Rob, Lunkers TV. So me and Holly were like down to do it. I mean, we were ready to go. We found a house. We found that area of Texas that we really liked, north of Dallas. It was going to be near everything, but still out in the country. We were looking at a place with like 6 acres, So not what I'm used to, like having a ton of acres out here, but 6 acres is still plenty. We were really close to Lake Ray Roberts, so we would be living on a lake. Now, there was going to be a lot of challenges with moving, as there always is, but we were there mentally. We were ready to do it. We'd gotten to the point where we had started like doing paperwork. Like we were moving forward on this house that we had found. We were moving forward on potentially selling our house here in Alabama. And of course, we knew we already had a buyer for the property, which we went ahead and sold that to them. That was already a done deal. There was no listing it for a year and having to wait for somebody to come look at it. The property was, boom, sold. So wheels were in motion. The move was happening. We quite literally had 1 foot out the door. And then life decided, you know what, Lojo? No, you're not moving. You're going to stay. After we had moved forward on all this and initiated, the first steps to making this a reality, tragedy struck. We ended up finding a bunch of crazy water damage in my house, in our current house, that we did not know existed. Now, the damage doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal when you just look at it, but once you understand the fact that water is getting into the house, by itself is a pretty big deal. It hasn't caused that much damage yet, but there's a ton of stuff that's gonna have to be done to our house before we could ever even think about selling it. But once we realized how much work it was gonna take to fix up my current house and how much money it was gonna take, because home insurance, our wonderful home insurance, Alpha, is not gonna cover it, of course, because an insurance company is gonna take your money, and if you don't pay them every month, they're gonna drop you from your coverage. But when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. They're like, oh, bro, dude, your house is messed up? Ooh, I wish we could help, yeah. And you're like, but wait, aren't you home insurance? Isn't this what you do? Oh, no, that's flood insurance. You wanna get flood insurance. But we didn't get in a flood. Water's just seeping in from somewhere. Oh, well, good luck with that. That's basically how the conversation went with the home insurance. So we're gonna be spending a ton of money out of pocket. It's gonna take weeks and months to deal with all the different contractors we're gonna have to deal with to do all this stuff. So basically that killed the Texas move, in short, because we had to back out of that house that we were looking at. You know, it wasn't gonna work out time-wise. It killed the whole thing. Everything was done. So now here we are, you know, we're kind of back to square one, I guess you could say. And I'm not even upset about it, to be honest. I mean, I was disappointed. My wife and I were crushed because once you have it in your mind that you're gonna do something and then you don't, it's just hard to deal with, you know? You've already mentally done the hard part and you've decided, and then it just gets kind of taken away from you. But because it was not in our control, I'm just letting the universe kind of guide me, you know, because I feel like that's what's happening here. Now, where does that leave us moving forward? And that's a good question, because it's not like any of these problems are going away. I mean, I'm still traveling to Texas a lot. I'm traveling all over the place. I love to travel. You know, I love to go to new places. I love to film content and create everywhere I go. But something's got to give eventually. So this move could happen. It may never happen. You know, I might just have to deal with the way it is right now. The point is, this was traumatic. And I'm glad I could share this with you guys finally, because I've been just bottling it in. I want to talk about it so bad, but I just didn't feel like it was the right time. I didn't want to mention that I was moving to Texas prematurely, and then something happened and I didn't, which is exactly what happened. So I'm glad I didn't say that I was going to move to Texas. But I didn't know when the right time was to bring this up and to tell you guys about it. But since you are a pretty big part of my life, and I literally see you guys out in the world everywhere I go, I just felt like it was something I needed to address. Hopefully I've done that and not gone on too long, and hopefully I haven't left out any major details. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm glad to be here for as long as I'm here. I love Daryl, I love Andrew, I love being here in Alabama, I love the community in which I live. And we're still searching out new spots every single day. There's a ton of new spots that we have been filming at lately and that we're going to keep filming at. So, you know, that's not going to stop now that I'm staying in Alabama for longer. Wow, my arm is so tired from vlogging. Holy moly. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be happy no matter where I am, as long as I've got my family, the people that I care about near me, and as long as I can wake up every morning and be on this earth, I'm good. I'm thankful for that. And thankful that there are you folks here that I get to share some of my pointless thoughts with. And every now and again, I might be funny, or every now and again, I might catch a good fish. So at least you got that going for you if you're a viewer of this channel. Maybe I make you laugh with how stupid I am sometimes, but whatever it is keeping you around, let me just tell you, thank you, and I love you. I legitimately love you, and I don't even know you. That's the weird part about it, I know. Don't think about it too much, it'll get weird. Got 2 more videos going live this week, so make sure you jokers are subscribed. Also, the Green Goblin giveaway is going on right now, so I hope you guys are taking advantage of that and getting in on that giveaway at GuggenSquad.com. More giveaways coming soon. I'm gonna give away a crap ton of this stuff. That's all I can tell you. Make sure you're subscribed. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.